Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are once again welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment at the comment section or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number 0277 128 777. Thank you. I want you to join me listening to an advice given to the NDC by Professor Gyampo, and he also expressed a regret in their action during 2016. Without much ado, I would like you to join me listening to what he said into detail. Thank you.
In the studio is Professor Ransford Gyampo, is a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, Legon, and an internationally recognized governance expert. Professor Ransford Gyampo, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, and thanks for having me here. Good morning to Ghanaians and all our fans and well-wishers. And I keep saying those who meet us everywhere and they have some positive reviews about the kinds of things we do for Mother Ghana, and they have some positive reviews about this whole program.
Yes.
And your network. I think it's important we greet them and then let them feel that we feel appreciated about what they do and how they urge us on to keep soldiering on for Mother Ghana and, you know, for the country as a whole. By way of preliminary comments, I want to greet my UTAG members across Ghana, just to let them know that over the week, the leadership of UTAG, and I'm talking about the presidents of UTAG across the public universities, met with the presidency to discuss issues that affect the interest of UTAG members.
I see.
And then also to remind the presidency about the pact we signed with him in fight against galamsey. You recall that we, after disorganized labor had betrayed all of us in the fight against galamsey, we UTAG broke ranks to go on industrial action, just to push pressure on government to act more in fighting galamsey. But in the course of that industrial action, some of us realized that at one point in time, we're merely romancing a stone because the government then had checked out. The ministers and all of them were in the hinterlands campaigning, and sometimes they told you in the face that, look, we will not even do anything about what you are asking for because we feel that if we do, we will lose election. And so some of us tabled the proposal that let us suspend that strike and rather sign a pact with all the then presidential aspirants so that whoever emerged victorious would fight galamsey.
Right.
So we signed it with virtually all of them, including President Mahama. So when we met with the presidency over the week to discuss so many things that affect the interest of the university teacher, we also took the opportunity to forcefully remind them about the pact they signed with us, that I think within 120 days or 3 months into the administration, they must take concrete and proactive steps to fight galamsey. And this one, because the president himself signed it, we want to hope and believe that he will not disappoint.
Right.
Let me also greet my own Eugene UTAG members and then our executive committee. As you guys know, would have to go on a retreat to go brainstorm and discuss how we would provide effective leadership to our members, how we would serve them and serve them well. So my executive committee members, I'm greeting all of you, especially my able Secretary G.G. Harrison, my able treasurer Professor Vera Fiado, and then my vice president and women's executive officer. I greet all of you. And then the others, Amando and co. Now, I want to, by way of also preliminary comments, make the point that, you see, the election of a president in the persona of John Dramani Mahama has brought a certain feeling of peace, a certain feeling of calmness and freedom among many Ghanaians. Now, a talk with politically switched on, discerning, non-rabble-rousing and non-riffraffs reveal that their political spirits are no longer agitated. Now, this is the kind of atmosphere, in my view, that would boost investor confidence. This is the kind of atmosphere that head teachers and headmasters who were previously scared to talk need to go about producing the nation builders. This is the kind of atmosphere and environment that chiefs need to restore their lost glory back to them, the glory that they had, which they that vanished in the era of the previous government. They need this kind of environment to restore their lost glory back to them. And there's the kind of environment that our forebears fought for at independence. And so it's a good environment, and I urge the new government and its appointees, respectfully, that they should set a higher standard for themselves. They should never use Akufo-Addoism as the baseline standard for anything they want to do in government. Else, there will be mediocrity in performance and achievement in a manner that will not commensurate the huge mandate and goodwill the people have reposed in the president and in his government. There is an adage that if you want to grow tall, you do not compare yourself to a dwarf. If you do, you become Lilliputian. And so I call on the appointees to be visionary in all that they do. I call on the appointees not to repeat the practice of recruiting unemployed, disgruntled party soldiers, parading them on social media, and tasking them to be churning out unintelligent propaganda. You see, Plato said that if it becomes necessary for the philosopher king to even tell lies, he should be able to tell intelligent medicinal lies that suits.
Intelligent medicinal lies.
Intelligent medicinal lies. That's what Plato says. But in the previous government, I think that some people were recruited on social media and paid tokens, 300 cedis a month.
You know that.
I know that, 300 cedis a month, and their job is to churn out unintelligent, propaganda and unintelligent lies. There are some lies you tell, and then people know that you are unintelligent. Don't recruit such people. And I also urge them, like I said, they should be visionary in everything that they do. And so what is a vision? You see, a lot of people have no appreciation of what a vision is. I'm urging them to be visionary in everything that they do in government. And when we talk about a vision, essentially you are referring to an ideal worldview of a situation or a perfect picture of something. Now, the single most distinctive feature of a vision that separates it from a mission, that separates it from a plan, an objective, an aim, and a target is that whereas an objective, whereas an aim, whereas a target, whereas a mission, whereas all these can be achieved, a vision cannot be achieved. So if you hear somebody saying that he has achieved his vision, it means the person has no appreciation of what a vision is. A vision cannot be achieved. A target, an objective, and aim, and all those things, a mission, they all can be achieved. But a vision cannot be achieved. Then people would ask that if a vision cannot be achieved, see, vision is about an ideal. And when we talk about ideal, an ideal is something that is unrealistic. An ideal is a utopia. And then when you talk about a perfect picture of something, there's no perfection under the sun. Okay? So people would say that, but if a vision cannot be achieved, why should it be there? It must always be there to guide performance and achievement beyond mediocrity. Okay, you cannot achieve it, but it must always be there to guide your performance and achievement beyond mediocrity. That is why somebody will say, the sky is my limit. Have you heard of that before?
Yes.
Somebody saying, the sky is my limit. The moment somebody says, the sky is my limit, the person is being visionary because nobody touches the sky. If the person says, the sky is my limit, the person wants to go high, 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 high. He will not touch the sky, but he will go high.
Yeah.
And that is why a charity organization that I worked with, I interned, when I was schooling in the U.S., had it as its vision statement to see a world without poverty. To see a world without poverty. What it used to do was to be given, its mission was to be giving some stipends to people who were poor and homeless, periodically. But its vision was to see a world without poverty. There's no way poverty can be totally eradicated in the world. And so that is visionary. So I'm urging the appointees to be visionary in everything that they do. Set certain higher ideals that would urge them, okay? Not using Akufo-Addoism as the baseline standard, but certain higher ideals, for themselves that would urge their performance and achievement beyond mediocrity in a manner that would justify the huge goodwill and public confidence that Ghanaians have reposed in them. And let me end also by way of my preliminary comment by saying that yesterday I saw on television President Akufo-Addo, President Mahama, I think, had gone on a thank you tour somewhere in the Volta region.
Yes, in the Volta region.
And then when he went and he was greeting the chiefs, I saw it on your network, your TV. When he went and he was greeting the chiefs, I realized that the chiefs wanted to stand up to greet him, and then he signaled that they should all sit. It was just beautiful. It was just nice. It demonstrated his humility. Okay? His humility. You see, power doesn't, real power, impedity, okay? Real power doesn't like noise. You see, it is seen. You see, people see it that you are powerful, and you demonstrate a certain humility. When people want to be standing up for you and all that you said, you tell them to sit. Okay, it's just nice. In sharp contrast with what used to happen when the former president would always be asking and insisting that people rise up and stand up to greet him and all that. President Mahama is not like that. And I'm happy, and I will continue to urge him that, look, the days of government kukuti gentle is gone. It is a government of humility. No more kukuti gentle, kukuti hunhuntai, ahantai, arrogance, a homosoistic government that wants people to rise. If you are powerful, power will speak for itself. Okay, it is not important to be lording over people and then insisting that people rise up to greet you. I mean, so that what will happen? So I want to say that I liked what I saw. I applaud the sense of humility that President Mahama showed when chiefs wanted to just rise up to greet him, and he beckoned them to sit down. And it's a good day for chiefs in our country. Like I said, their lost glory, occasioned by the way Akufo-Addo treated them, is being restored to them by a new regime. And I want to hope that they will shun the needless chieftaincy disputes and multiple sale of lands, and all those things that they do that undermine their image and their glory, they will see that they will shun them, because we are in a new era that is aimed at restoring their lost glory to them. And again, I commend the teachers and the headmasters who are now talking about the challenges that they are facing with free SHS. You ask yourself, why were they scared? Many of them were scared because they felt that if they offered criticism about the system, they were going to be transferred. Look, I went to a school, okay, where my daughter used to attend, and the headmistress had come to outline so many challenges about the school. And then it all was about the fact that they didn't have money to buy many things and to feed the kids. So I got up and I offered to pay a certain amount of money. And then I also called on some notable parents that I knew to do so. Whilst we were doing that, the headmistress just left, just abandoned as she left the assembly hall where I was trying to do that. Why? Because she said if she sits down to look on whilst we do that, she was going to be punished, that she had told the whole world that they were in need and all that. So she had to leave. And when she left, so we all had to abandon this whole idea. You have teachers who will call you privately and say, don't mention my name, but these are the challenges. Meanwhile, we're being gaslighted to believe that all was well. So I like the fact that now, CHAS, Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary School, now they found their voice and they are talking. I like the fact that President Mahama himself has said that now people should be free to talk and all that. So there is a certain burden that has been lifted from all of us, and people are now free to go about whatever they have to do. And I'm wondering, how can we make this kind of mistake in 2016 by bringing into government President Akufo-Addo? I'm wondering, it was a flaw in our judgment, and I don't think that we would ever repeat such a monumental mistake we made.
While Lawyer Martin Peebles settles down, we'll also be joined by Felix Kwachofosu shortly, and then also Lawyer Amwakwa, who is a member of the legal team for the NPP. But this is what Professor Lord Mensah, who's at the University of Ghana Business School, just sent me. He says, performance tracking will be key to keeping the NDC government in check. That's in tandem with something you just mentioned. Beyond the leadership showing that example that you have referenced a number of times, what should be done to ensure that also trickles down to the many? Because yesterday, in fact, the first time he swore the first 6 ministers in, and yesterday, he's reiterated continuously that point about they not showing arrogance in the discharge of their duties. They must show humility and so on. But beyond just that charge, what has to be put in place to ensure that there's performance tracking, and then also they're living by the example of the leader? No,
you see, so Lord Mensah, my colleague, good morning to you. It's important for them to tell the whole people of Ghana what they went to find and what the state of affairs is, so that we can use that as a baseline to judge what they will be doing. As you tell us what you found, periodically you should also be telling us what you have done, okay? And then comparing, so that we'll be able to compare what you found vis-a-vis what you have done. And that would help us to be able to track the performance of those appointees. Oftentimes, people are appointed, and when they get into the various ministries, departments, and agencies, they are not transparent about what they went to see. So appointees, when you get there and it is all good, let us know. When you get there and it is not all good, let us know, so that we will be able periodically, as you also go and perform, we'll be able to measure what you have done vis-a-vis what you went to find. So everybody should take a tour of the various ministries, departments, and agencies that they've been appointed to, and to interact and to see what is happening open their books and get to know what really is happening there, and make those findings public, and let us be able to fully appreciate the real state of affairs at the various places that people may have been appointed. And I like the fact that President Mahama has made the point, because one of the factors that led to the monumental electoral defeat of the NPP was the fact that they displayed arrogance, from the president himself to the daily rated appointee. Everybody displayed a certain level of arrogance in a manner that was nauseating to the good people of Ghana, so they showed them the exit. And so you do not want a situation where new government led by somebody who is naturally affable, calm, and humble, that government is also plagued with that same challenge of people displaying arrogance. And so let them pay heed to that call, that they would have to be humble. I mean, it's so interesting. My friends in the previous government who were not answering my calls when they were in power, they were so busy, they don't answer your calls. Now they exited power, they are calling me. And you are calling me for what? I am the regular runs for Gyampo that you know. So stop calling me. Nothing has changed. When you were in power, you are not. We call you are not picking. Now you've exited power, you are calling. What do you want from us? That show of arrogance has now paid out negatively for you. And so be there and continue to think about how you'll be able to restructure your party and to position yourself for some future elections. And this is a lesson to the current appointees. You guys, when you're in opposition, you are talking to us. When we come on TV, 3 key points, and then we take on the government, it inures to your benefit, and you benefited from it so well. And you were sending a text messages even whilst we were on live TV. Now you've been appointed. Keep the relationships. Don't all of a sudden become a Kufuado Kokoti, gentle appointee, where all of a sudden you have changed your numbers, or all of a sudden we are calling just to even look out for, seek information, and then we call you and you don't pick up. We don't need anything from you. We need information. That's all. And so if you behave like that, you would also be treated like the way Ghanaians have treated the NPP and its apparatchiks. So it's an advice that is well given by His Excellency the President. No minister, no appointee should be arrogant. Let them come down to earth. After all, the NDC is a Congress. Congress is about the people. By the ethos of social democracy, they are supposed to be with all the people, the masses. They are not supposed to be arrogant and that elitist, and they are not supposed to be constructing walls, around themselves and making it impossible for the ordinary people and downtrodden people to come closer to them. So let them live in accordance with the ethos of social democracy, and let them live in accordance with the call that President Mahama has made to the appointees. It's about humility and not arrogance.
And in fact, laying this solid foundation, it's on on the matter of holding government officials to strict proof. This is one measure as well, aside from the many at play. And that's an assurance that Prof also gave earlier.
Yes, I generally, Mr. Host, I think that I like everything that Felix Kwasi Ofosu, came to say here. I was listening to him with rapt attention. He's an excellent communicator. You understand why he was appointed to that position. He said everything that would, and I believe that if you had given him all the time, he would have gone on talking in a manner that would have rendered all of us redundant here. But one thing that I believe he said that struck me was his assurance to all of us that you guys can continue to subject the government to strict proofs, and that we are not going to be sponsoring social media political laggards to be smearing you. you have the right to criticize, to offer constructive criticism for the purposes of keeping the government on its toes, and that we are not going to be coming after it. I thought that was so assuring. The point must be made that, you see, for some of us, we are over and above being smeared. We are over and above the infantile tricks, infantile machinations deployed by people who have nothing to offer against those of us who are seeking to ensure that we subject government to street proofs. We don't fear those things. But the challenge is that some people who could have done this thing that we do better, are always scared. You see, I've met so many people who commend you, and then you tell them that, but you can do this better. And they said, no, but they will insult me. And I said, and I get worried. Okay, so there are people who can do what we do better, but they fear being smeared. So this morning, I was very elated when I heard Felix Kwachi Ofosu re-echo President Mahama's assurance to all of us that we can go about subjecting him to street proof, and that he would respect the role that we play, and that he will not sponsor people and pay them 300 cedis every month to be on social media just to be insulting people that they must learn from. And I'm excited again about this new ministry for youth development. And I'm asking the minister that, you see, if the future belongs to the youth, then the youth must be developed for the future. It cannot be part of the youth developmental process by asking young people to remain on social media and to be spewing garbage and insult. Asking young people to remain on social media and to be insulting elders, people who have lived lives, and then just be paying them 300 cedis. It's not part of youth development. And so let us put in place proper mentoring and development strategies that would harness the potentials, talents, and everything that young people have, and mentor them properly so that we can use that, we can tap into those talents and potential for national development. I believe that if the future belongs to the youth, then the youth must be prepared and developed, for the future. And so it is exciting to know that we have a whole ministry that is in charge of youth development. Previously, youth development issues were treated as appendages of the sports ministry. We know when we talk about sports, every resource go to football, and even football, only Black Stars alone. And so the rest were marginalized. Go to the various youth leadership training centers and see. There are areas that are now being occupied by being used as den of thieves, areas that all social evils are going on there. They don't have anything. And so there's no youth development, in our part of the world. And so I believe that this whole idea of creating a sector ministry in charge of youth development is good. The relevance of young people does not lie in being only used as agents for the fomentation of violent electoral conflict. They are not only vote getters. They are not people who must be deployed to go and campaign, people who must be deployed to go and fight in the lead up to elections. They also have a role to play in the governance process of a country, and a developing country like Ghana. And so it is important that we bring all of them together, mentor them well, develop them well, so that we can tap into their zeal, their resources, their potential that they have for national development. And so once again, yes, congratulations to Felix Kwachi Ofosu for what he's done here. And I want to hope and believe that if he is not here every Saturday, at least Shamima, who deputizes as government spokesperson, would also be here to help explain some of the things. You know what how he explained this Namumo incident. I mean, I thought it was something that had to be put out there to prevent the kind of reaction that people, offered, insisting that the woman was late, and so that's how come she was not sworn in. But the explanation he gave, one of the challenges of the NPP was that they didn't even know how to communicate the kinds of things that they claim to have done. Communication, talking about what they have done.
There's a communicator here.
Well, I mean, I've said he's just one. But I'm saying the party as a whole, they couldn't even communicate some of the things that they claim to have done. So I think that every party needs excellent communication, okay? Excellent communicators who would interface between the government and the governed, so that we would appreciate some of these things that they do. If you do that, then you limit the opportunities and chances for the peddling of rumors and the peddling of hearsays and misinformation and all that. So it's good. I wish the government well. Everything that he has said is on point, explaining how and how some ministries will be having deputies and then giving indications as to those that may not have deputies, just for the purposes of ensuring that President Mahama sticks to his promise to have 60 ministers. I think it's good. This is going to be then the leanest government in the history of Ghana's Fourth Republic. And I want to believe that he would insist on going by what he said rather than going the Kufuor way. The Kufuor way was also commendable, but the point is that if truly we are strengthening the civil service to be able to perform their role effectively as the administrative machinery of the state, then we may not even need 60 ministers. We can make do with 30, because other countries that are more populous, other countries that are more wealthy, other countries that are richer than us,
yes,
they are governing with 13 ministers, 17 ministers, less than 40, ministers. And so it is possible, to borrow the MPP's cliche, it is possible to even run Ghana with 30 ministers. So I do not expect President Mahama to go beyond, to go above the 60 ministers that he's promised. And I can say that if he's able to stick to some of these things he's assured us of doing, he would continue to be the darling boy of the good people of Ghana. He will continue to justify the huge mandate and goodwill that he has. And let me conclude by saying, and just advising, as I said earlier, that in doing all these things, they should be careful not to use Akufo-Addoism as the baseline standard, because there is a saying that if you want to grow tall, you don't compare yourself to a dwarf. Otherwise, you become a Lilliputian.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time once again, and say God bless you for the wonderful things you are doing for us on the channel. Stay blessed.
Dedi kama mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.